Good morning this morning. Welcome to a Kirk Herbstreit is failing as a father edition of the OHIO podcast. Do us a big favor, smash that like button. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel. Absolutely does help us and gets us in front of the eyeballs of more fans, much like yourself. If you feel led to, please give us a comment down in the comment section below. This is no doubt going to be a lightning rod video. Many of you are going to agree with me. Many of you are going to disagree with me, but I am positive most of you will have some form of emotion as I about take a few moments to break down what I feel is very hypocritical. Now, I have been a defender of Kirk Herbstreit when many a Buckeye Nation has not. If you watch the OHIO podcast live shows with myself and one of my co-hosts, Chris the Wild Man Wilds, we have gone back and forth on Kirk Herbstreit. I was a huge defender of Kirk Herbstreit. I felt that he was unbiased, he was professional, and that he got a bad rap from Buckeye Nation for his role on game day and et cetera, et cetera. And that deep down inside, he was still a Buckeye fan. And I mean, goodness sakes, the dude went to Ohio State, met his wife there. His father was a Buckeye. He was a second generation Buckeye. And his middle son, Zach, went to Ohio State, just graduated from Ohio State. Surely, surely Kirk Herbstreit's a Buckeye. But boy, oh boy, he just keeps stepping in it, doesn't he? He just keeps right it, just steps in it all the time, man. Ah, and he's done it again. And as a Buckeye fan, I'm going to defend him slightly here today. But as a Buckeye fan, I'm also going to question, what are you doing? Like, really, what is happening? I think I know what's going on in the Herbstreit household. And before I get into any of this and make a whole bunch of people mad, let me first make it perfectly clear that my prayers go out to his wife who has cancer. And I hope that she is able to beat cancer and that the Herbstreit family can rejoice and celebrate and what will be a miracle and a blessing for their life if she's able to come out of this cancer free. So let me say that first and foremost, okay? Let me also say that for the most part, I think Kirk Herbstreit as an analyst is one of the best in football. I have thought that for a while. I still feel that way. And for the most part, he's one of the only reasons why you should ever turn on ESPN if you do. I also understand the flip side of this argument that so many people get upset with Kirk Herbstreit because on the very same set of game day, where he is completely unbiased and sometimes even over the top anti Buckeye because he doesn't want to be perceived as being biased, you have Desmond Howard sitting directly across from him, who's the most biased personality for his alma mater that has ever graced television screens in college football history on ESPN. It's ridiculous. And Ohio State fans see that, and I think most of them want Kirk to act like Desmond does for his alma mater. And Kirk's just not going to do that because he was taught to be professional. So now that I have all of that out of the way, let me dive into why Kirk Herbstreit, I think, has failed as a father. This picture ended up going around the internet yesterday. That is Kirk's youngest son, Chase, who accepted a scholarship to the University of Dum. He is flanked on his right by his beautiful mother, and on his left, on the left of his famous father. I'm not sure who the guy is all the way on the left there, or his right, our left. Maybe another brother, friend, somebody in the university, cousin. I don't know who it is. I don't think it's one of his older brothers who's a twin who played at Clemson. Maybe so. I don't know. I know it's not Zach, the middle brother who went to Ohio State. I do know that. But this picture makes its rounds around the internet. People are just all up in arms. Chase posts it and tags his dad in the post. Now, remember, not that long ago, Kirk Herbstreit said that he didn't even get on Twitter, that it was his son who got on there and posted things. Okay. Yet his son tags him. Okay. Kirk realizes that this isn't going to go over well with Buckeye Nation. He's wearing a University of Dumb Lantern, and he's put on a Navy outfit and to look good for the picture, I assume, and to be supportive of his son, right? That's the idea here from Kirk. Mom, on the other hand, she's wearing a swanky loserine hat, gross, disgusting. Former Buckeye cheerleader, by the way. And here they are, supporting their son in his decision, a terrible decision, mind you, to go to the University of Dumb. Now, let me say this, okay? A lot of you are going to say, hey, Ohio State didn't offer him a scholarship. University of Dumb did, and he's going to get a great education. He's probably never going to see the field, but he's going to get a great education, right? That's what some people are going to use as an excuse here. I would like to remind you that this picture could have been them in purple of him being a quarterback at Northwestern. This picture of him could have been of him in blue as a quarterback of Duke University. This picture could have been of him in crimson over there in Stanford as a quarterback for Stanford. In all three of those situations, he probably would have had a better opportunity to be a starting quarterback or at least see the field, right? Now, oh, shoot, this picture could have been of him in orange in Princeton or crimson in Harvard. If it's about getting an education, there are plenty of universities much better than the University of Dumb, if you ask me my opinion. Okay? And by the way, if you all think that getting a college education from a certain university makes all the difference in the world, mind you, the richest people in the world don't even have college educations. So, college is more about making relationships, business relationships, and getting your foot in the door when you get out of college. And a lot of times that has nothing to do with the liberal arts degree that you're being indoctrinated with. I digress. So spare me that excuse that this was an education decision for Chase Herbstreit. I do believe, however, that there's a reason why Chase decided to go there. By the way, why did they even offer him? Have you asked yourself that question? Why did they offer Chase Herbstreit? Do you think they offered him a scholarship because they believe Chase Herbstreit is going to one day be the starting quarterback in the maize and blue? Do you really think that that is why they offered him that scholarship? Go look at the recruiting rankings. Go look at his highlight film. Go look at the other highlight films of the other quarterbacks that were offered. Look at who they just got in the classic quarterback. Do you really think they think, yeah, we're going to develop Chase in his 5th year as a senior, he's going to start for us? There's zero chance that that was the motivation behind why the coaching staff in the maize and blue offered that boy a scholarship. This is a troll job. This is a we want to get back at Ohio State. And the fact that Kirk Herbstreit allowed his son to be played like this is a failure on his part as a father, if you ask me my honest opinion. Now, let me give you a little story. Let me give you a little backstory on why I'm so passionate about this. Let's go back to the early 90s, shall we? Let's go back in our DeLorean and head back to the 90s. By the way, I saw this crazy tweet that if Back to the Future was remade today, we would go back to the 90s in the same time frame as that movie was was made and went back in the future. That's wild. Time flies. Okay, second grade, early 90s. Little Eric goes to Columbia School on Columbus Road in Mount Vernon, Ohio. And little Eric's got his little Ohio State book bag, his little Ohio State lunchbox, and wears his little Ohio State t-shirts that his mom and dad dress him in to go to school in. It's November. It's late November, and it's the it's the game. It's the big week of the game, and you're allowed to wear Ohio State stuff to school. And of course, little Mama Boggs dresses little baby Boggs, little second grader Boggs in his Ohio State stuff, and I go to elementary school. My teacher, who I admired greatly in the second grade, happened to be a fan of the team up north, and she wore her ugly sweater that day with a ugly M on the front of her sweater. And I remember thinking, that's interesting. And I liked my second grade teacher. I already mentioned that, but I want to make that perfectly clear. And little second grade Boggsy says, "You know what? I think I'm going to change and root for that team up north because they're winning. My team's not, and I'm going to root for them because I like my second grade teacher." So I go home and I inform my father that I'm going to be rooting for the team up north. My dad, having grown up in the era of Woody Hayes and and Earl Bruce, looks me in the eye as my father and says, "Son, no boy of mine is going to live under my roof, eat my food, and root for that team up north. You can pack your bags and you can leave." Well, the tears swell up in little second grade Boggsy's eyes, having feeling betrayed by his father. I pack my underwear, a couple pair of socks, some sweatpants, and a sweater or two in my little Ohio State suitcase, and my mom packs me a little peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and out the door I go into the big blue yonder, a new fan of the team up north. Little second grade Bogsy makes it to about the mailbox when I realize the error of my ways. It wasn't my father who betrayed me, it was I who had betrayed my father. And I turn around and I come back home and I open the door and I apologize to my dad and I promise him I will never root for that team up north. And to this day, my favorite team is Scarlet and Gray. And my second favorite team is whoever is playing those cheaters, the scum of the earth from Ann Arbor. Why? Because it's in my DNA. It's literally written in my DNA. You cut me open, I bleed scarlet. And if I bleed enough, I'll turn gray. That is real. That is not a joke. That is 100% true. I love Ohio State. Some might say your father indoctrinated you. You're darn right he did. And I thank the good Lord every single day that he did and he raised me right and taught me to cheer for the right team and to not be a hypocrite, to not betray my family, to not turn my back on the Ohio State University like Kirk Herbstreit has. See, did he really raise his son right? Did he really teach him to be loyal to his alma mater, to be loyal to the alma mater that his father, Kirk's father, went to, that his grandfather, Chase's grandfather, played for, that his older brother Zach was playing for? And by the way, we'll get to Zach in just a minute. Did he teach him those things as a dad? Here's what I think was going on. I think Kirk Herbstreit has allowed a couple vocal fans in this fan base, and he calls them lunatic fringe. And if you want to put me in that category, feel free to do so. I've never threatened anybody their life because of my fandom. I think anybody can root for whoever they want to root for. If they want to betray their alma mater, that's fine. But I also think you should be called out for it too, which is exactly what I'm doing today. But that doesn't mean I'm going to threaten anybody's life. Those people are crazy. Most of them aren't even really Ohio State fans, if you want to know the truth. They're fans of making money and betting, and they lose their shorts betting, and they get mad about it and drink a little bit too much, and they go on social media and they say stupid stuff. Are they truly fans? I don't think so. But that's how I was raised, and that's how I've raised my sons. Listen, if my son came to me, shoot, my stepson, who's not even my biological son, if he came to me and said, Eric, I got a scholarship to the team up north, I'd be like, oh, that's nice. Make sure you get scholarships from other schools because you're not going there. We wouldn't even take the visit. He wouldn't be allowed to. Not under my roof. Pack your bags, son. Here's your peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Hit the road. Not under my roof, right? Oh, that's crazy, man. You're like in a cult. That's kind of funny you say that. My co-host Chris took his daughter to her first Ohio State game, and her comment was, Dad, I'm pretty sure you're in a cult. Although I don't believe Ohio State fans are a cult. We're not Texas A&M. They are in a cult. We are fanatics. We love Ohio State. It is in our DNA. And I have to question what has truly happened to Kirk Herbstreit to allow him to get to this situation where he's not even raising his son right. Do you think Woody Hayes would look at Kirk Herbstreit and be approving of this? How about Urban Meyer? Jim Tressel? Would they approve of Kirk Herbstreit allowing his son to go to that university? Any university but this one. Go to Notre Dame. My goodness. Go anywhere but there. You can't go there. You can't allow your child to go there. Kirk, your older twins went to Clemson. And Ohio State was like, come on. All right, I guess. But there? This is what's going on. I think Kirk has allowed that lunatic fringe to upset him and his wife so much that Chase was raised in a house where Ohio State became a swear word to them. Not a place of pride, not a place of dignity, and a place of let's go back to old Ohio town and sing the songs, right? No, none of those things. He was raised in a house where Ohio State was a dirty word to Kirk and his wife. I do believe that. And because of that, Chase in some kind of form or fashion feels like he's honoring his father by doing this, which means this is a failure on you, Kirk. It is a failure on you. Let's move real fast. I got some things to show you. So Kirk responds to all of Ohio State fans here. Had a lot going on with my family and found it best for my own mental health to avoid the trolls and people with bad intentions. So just decided to avoid the noise during that period. My son posted a few things for me once in a while. Did that interview with Andy and Ari when I stepped away from it back in December. I get on periodically now, but not a big fan of the negativity. Talking about Twitter. He's not a big fan of the negativity. Kirk, he literally goes on to say he enjoys the back and forth. Well, is anything, here's what happens. I honestly believe Kirk lives in a silo where he's been praised so much by everybody around him that he thinks his poop don't smell. And because of that, anything that is against his opinion is negative. That's negative. I don't want that in my life. That's against how I feel or how I think, right? He says he enjoys the back and forth. Do you? Do you? I don't think you do. By the way, this is the same Kirk Herbstreit who just a few weeks ago when Ohio State beat Notre Dame was crying tears. He got all emotional, right? And he says, there's some things going on in his life with his wife and with his son Zach, who had a health issue that kept him from playing the last few years at Ohio State. And that emotion was just pouring out. And I get that, sure. Whatever, bro. I don't know that national television would have been the best place for that to happen, knowing that people are going to say things and you struggle with the negativity so much. It's probably not the best place, but hey, sometimes you can't help it and the emotion comes out of you. I get it, man. I understand that, right? But you can't sit there and cry those tears after Ohio State wins and people say, "Oh, there goes Kirk. He's not biased. He's so biased towards Ohio State. He's not unbiased. He's biased towards Ohio State." And then turn right around and take a picture of yourself with your youngest son in this. That's the definition of a hypocrite. One might argue that's the definition of a good father. I disagree with you. I think that's being the definition of a bad father. And I've already told you my story. But then I love Zach Herbstreit. Man, Zach gets it. Somehow you did so well with Zach, brother. What happened with Chase, man? I don't know. Maybe you were gone away from home too much with him, flying around the country doing NFL games now and everything else, and you left Zach home with mommy too much, who was obviously really not happy with Ohio State fans because of all the negativity. But here's Zach's response to his brother, who posted himself in maize and blue. He posted the Obi-Wan Kenobi meme, where Anakin Skywalker, who becomes Darth Vader, is literally burning alive. You were the chosen one. That's fantastic. Thank you, Zach. Thank you. It is obvious to me. It has become incredibly obvious to me that there is a huge division in the Herbstreit family when it comes to how to properly apply your fandom to Ohio State. He tries so hard to stay unbiased and in the middle that you're not a winner anymore. You can't win. You can't win for losing, right? Is that how you feel, Kirk? It's time you finally took a stand, man. What you should have done is you should have said, Chase, you're not going there. Anybody but anywhere but there, bud. Mm-mm. I'm not going to let you do that. Because why? Because I love Ohio State. And to do that would be a betrayal of me and our family name. That's what you should have done. As a Ohio State fan who loves the Buckeyes, who's been raised to love the Buckeyes, who's raised my family to love the Buckeyes, it's not just tradition, it's family, it's culture, it's who we are. I would never, if any of my children decided to go there, I would never be caught in a picture. I would never be wearing those things, their colors like that. Never. You say you're crazy. Maybe. Fan is short for fanatic, by the way. But it means too much to me. I'm too invested. You talk to any of these former players, and I'll be done in just a few minutes. Thanks for watching this as I spew this out this morning. You talk to former players like Ryan did. Go back and watch that interview when he was asked by Corey, my other co-host, about what it's like to lose that game and the hurt he still has 30 years later from losing that game. It's unbelievable the pain these guys go through when they don't win that game. And you allowed your son to go to the rival? It's like slapping all your former teammates in the face, man. I can't believe you did that. Anywhere but there, bro. It just baffles my mind. This is the same guy, mind you, Kirk Herbstreit, who got all upset and said, when my son committed and accepted that scholarship and committed to Scum, I didn't get one congratulation text from those coaches at Ohio State. You honestly thought they would congratulate you? This is a rivalry. It is the greatest rivalry in sports. The hate runs deep, Kirk. Hello. It blows my mind how naive you are. I think you have lived in your ivory tower for so long, Kirk. You don't know how a common fan in the fan base feels and thinks. Your sense of reality is just unbelievable. You're the closest thing in sports to people who live in Hollywood and think that the rest of us peons are their servants. That's how you're acting, bro. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And to the fans who get on his Twitter and want to, oh, Kirk, don't listen to those mean Ohio State fans. We're not all like that. It's okay, Kirk. We understand. You're being a good daddy. No, he's not. He's being a terrible father. He's splitting his house apart, man. It's awful decision, bro. Awful. This reminds me of a couple verses I'd like to share with you. James 1:8. A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. Watch Kirk Herbstreit. He tries to ride the fence so much. He's, oh, I'm a Ohio State fan, but I don't want to be biased, so I got to go over here. And my son, he went to Ohio State, but my other one, he's going to go to Ann Arbor. And dude, you're unstable in all your ways. That's why you're crying all the time on TV, man. It's not your dog, all right? It's not Black Lives Matter. Remember that one when he got on ESPN and apologized for his whiteness? Bro, come on, man. It's because you're double-minded. You're trying to placate too many people who are on both sides of an issue. Take one, man. Be unapologetic. I am unapologetic in my fandom for Ohio State. Sorry if it offends you. Oh well. Not going to lose sleep over it. I promise you that. Revelation 3:15 and 16 also. I know thy works, that thou art neither cold nor hot. I would thou wert cold or hot. So then, because thou art lukewarm and neither cold nor hot, I will spew thee out of my mouth. Just a couple Bible verses that this whole thing reminded me of. I 100% believe that the coaching staff up in Ann Arbor for the Maize and Blue are trolling you, Kirk. They are using your son. Why? To get at people like me, to get at our fans, to get at Ryan Day, to get at your son, Zach. And you've allowed it to happen. Well, I hope for your sake, Kirk, that it all works out for the better. And like I said at the beginning of this video, I pray for your wife, man. I pray for your family. I hope you guys are able to beat this thing and are able to find peace and joy and love with one another and all of those wonderful things. But I ain't rooting for your boy. And I'm not happy about this decision. And you should be ashamed of yourself. Let me know what you think in the comments section below. Appreciate each and every single one of you taking the time. Gosh, 30 minutes of me spewing this out. Yeah, that's how passionate I am about this, I guess you could say. Let me know what you think in the comments section below. If you haven't already, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. Consider becoming a member of the channel. It only costs $3.99 a month for content like this behind the paywall. And if you thought I was rough with this one, you should go see sometimes what Chris and I get like behind the paywall. Woo, doggies. I guess we let all of our scarlet and gray out, I guess you could say. You might really, really enjoy that. Plus, it's a way of saying thank you. By the way, you can give super thanks if you like. If you consider doing that, you appreciate the content and like this video, please consider doing that. It does help us. Have a great day, everybody. We will be back. We go live Thursday night, 8 o'clock Eastern for the call-in show. I'm sure we'll talk about this. Sunday night, we have our roundtable discussion with a guest every Sunday night, 8 o'clock Eastern. And Dr. Corey has some Buckeye therapy for all of you, 8 o'clock Eastern on Monday nights. Man, I tell you what, Kirk Herbstreit should go to Dr. Corey and lay down on his couch and get some of this stuff out because it is obvious that man has got a lot of stuff up there in that noggin of his that he needs to get out. Have a great day, everybody. Go Bucks.